the woman taken in adultery. Are there sins that are so big, so nasty, so dirty, so awful, that maybe God can forgive them, but I don't know that if I can? I want to be like Him in His actions, in His words, in His deeds, in His compassion, and in His forgiveness. God, help me to be like You. We used to sing a chorus when we were new boys. Lord, make me like You. Please make me like You. You are a servant. Make me one too. I want to be His servant. But Paul takes it another step and he says, we be Your servants for Christ's sake. How in the world could He forgive her of that awful sin? How could He? But what about those people that just irritate you? We talked about a faithful spirit, a forgiving spirit, but what about a forbearing spirit? I saw a thing, I'm going to say this and I'll get in trouble for it, but that's okay. I saw a thing online that said, if a man does something wrong in the woods and his wife's not there to remind him of it, has he still done wrong? I think he has, Again, we come back to the marital relationships. We come back to working relationships. We come back to relationships within the body of Christ. What do the epistles, what does Paul teach us? Paul said that we are to bear one another's burdens. In the same chapter in Galatians 6, he says, but bear ye your own burdens. Well, that's a contradiction. The first burden is the word forton. It means faults or sins. Down a few verses where it says burdens again, it's barrows. It means your burden of work and ministry. Every guy has to make his own way in life as far as laboring. There's no slackers. You don't work, you don't eat. You have the responsibility to bear your own burdens, but I have a responsibility to bear up with your faults. When my dad died, I remember my mom saying, he had his faults, but I love him. He wasn't a perfect guy. Pretty good guy. We liked him. We didn't want to see him leave, but he did. We have to bear with one another. Put up with one another. How can I do that? Why do I have to put up with that? I don't need to put up with this. Might be at the place you work. Might be someone in your own family. I'll read a couple scriptures to you here. Colossians 3. Put on therefore as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowels of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another, and forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. And above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfection. And let the peace of God, here it comes again. You want to have the peace of God in your life? Ask the Lord to work these things in verse 12 and 13 into your heart. And let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to which also you were called in one body, and be ye thankful. Now, I want to talk just for a moment in closing about long-suffering. God is long-suffering. He hath not dealt with us according to our iniquities. What is that, the 103rd Psalm? I think. If not, it's in there. It's like this spaghetti sauce. It's in here somewhere. He's not dealt with us after our iniquities or according to our iniquities. Thank God. And He's forbearing and long-suffering. I'm going to give you the meaning, the definition of long-suffering. It means to suffer long. A better way to put it is this. It means to be long-suffering. What is your breaking point? I would suggest don't have a breaking point. It is by the mercy of God that I'm still here today on It is by the mercy of God that I still have a family and a wife that loves me. Because my family has been long-suffering with me. Paul said that if a brother be overtaken in a fault, ye that are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering yourself. Considering that you might be the one in need of restoration. I'll be honest with you. I've needed restoration. Even after salvation, even after being called into the ministry, even after having pastored 4 churches, even after having knelt at an altar in Shrewsbury, Pennsylvania, and being ordained into the ministry, I got to the point where I needed long-suffering and forbearing. I was hurt so bad by people, but there's more to that story. I hurt people so bad also. No one wins in a fight, you know that? But I was hurt so bad, and I couldn't forgive, and I was so bitter that it nearly destroyed my life. I thought liquor was the answer. Can you believe that? Having been saved, called to the ministry, pastored 4 churches, ordained. Listen, I would to God no one ever have to go that path. There are days, it's been years now since I drank, but there are days out of the clear blue sky, I can smell in my mind, I can taste in my inner man bourbon. Like Paul shook the snake off into the fire, I shake it off. I've been redeemed for better things. Now listen, if I were the head of something like God is, and I had a guy that I was gracious to and helped out on so many occasions and healed his body when he was in a real pickle, it looked like he was going to have abdominal surgery. The next morning in nuclear medicine on a Sunday, the doctors were arguing. The doctor came and said, "You don't have that blockage." I said, "Well, maybe it was never there." You know what he said to me? He said, "Son, I don't know all the medicine there is in the world, but I can read an x-ray." I said, "What happened to it?" He said, "I'm writing it down as obviously an unexplainable occurrence." I said, "Would you call that a healing?" He said, "You would. In your chart, I have to put this." And I said, now, had I done all these things for a guy like that, for him just to turn around and wallow in the mud of the swine again, I'd have wiped him out. But not Jesus. I'm the lamb the shepherd left the flock for. The best I can describe him is, he's the hound of heaven. And when I strayed, he caught my scent, and he chased me down. So that's not a good rosy picture. It's what it is. It is what it is. Thessalonians, Paul said, "Be patient toward all men." Why should I be patient to a guy like me? Well, the kids used to sing a song, "He's still working on me." Remember that song? He's still working on me. He's still working on you. He's still working on that other person in your life that frustrates you, that gets your goat. He's still working on that person. A faithful spirit, a forgiving spirit, a forbearing spirit. We are agents of his grace and mercy. We, as Christians, we're agents of his grace and mercy. There's a group of guys that meets up here at the Glen by the dam. Every summer, I see them. And I'm not criticizing anything, but several churches now have these biker blessings. You know, the only motorcycle I'm getting on is the three-wheel kind. So the fat man's trike is what's for me. But if it were me, I'd go up and ask those guys if they wanted to ride along. Still, you know what you're getting yourself into. Do you know who those guys are? I know who they are. They are criminals. They're heathen. They know nothing about Jesus, I'm assuming. But I see Jesus in his day hanging out with the biker gang. Or maybe they called him the camel gang at that time, I don't know. I see Jesus reaching out to them. Jesus said, they that are whole need not a physician. They that are sick and diseased, they need a physician. We are agents of his grace and mercy. We are agents of his love and forbearance. We are agents of his forgiveness and redemption because we have been recipients of such. I don't care what you look like. Steve Harvey will never make the mistake pronouncing me Miss Universe. I ain't pretty enough. Not going to happen. I don't care what a person looks like. I don't care what they have on. We have to look beyond their faults and see their needs. You want revival in your church? Love on one another. Love everyone that comes in that door. Love on the people in the community. Do things for people expecting nothing in return. That's where churches begin to thrive. Reach out. Be his hand extended. Take care of the sick and the weary. Take care of those that are diseased. Don't be frustrated with people that have goofy, weird ideas. All of us have had to have our minds transformed by the power of the Word of God and by the Holy Ghost. Why, if we reach out to that people, they'll bring some strange thoughts into our church. So what? So what? Some of the best conversations I've ever had have been with heathens. I guess I speak their language. Let me ask you something today. Is there a type of people you can't forgive? Is there someone that as we talk today came into your heart and mind that you should forgive? I was at kids camp down outside of Carlisle. This goes back, I think, when Rachel was just a baby. And I did a week of kids camp as a counselor. And the evangelist was talking to the kids about someone who may have hurt them in the past. There was this friend of the family when I was a kid that I would have liked to have taken a 2x4 across his nose. He was just a nasty human being. He used to corner me and tickle me until I couldn't stand it anymore. Tickle me now, let's see how far you get. You know, that's what I like to have said. Wasn't even thinking about this guy, and the evangelist said, I'm the first person that comes in your mind. I want you to bring us to Jesus. And I go, man, that guy came to my mind. Wow. When I was in Bible school and I came home for a weekend, I went to a football game up in Line Mountain. He was there and he was drunk. I stood at the corner of the end zone with some friends because the game had moved down toward the end zone closest to the school. And he started to mock me, make fun of me, pick on me again. He wanted to fight. Everything in me just wanted to tell him off. I just want to tell him, I've known you for all my life. And I did. Something said, just be quiet. That's hard. Kitty, is it true? Is it hard for me to keep my mouth shut? Amen. She knows. I wanted to tell him. I could have told him I could have done it good. Ooh, boy, man. I could have used big boy words too, but they didn't look good. But all of a sudden, a man from Halifax, who I didn't know his name, but I knew him because he pumped gas at, used to be band burners years ago. All of a sudden, this guy out of clear blue sky started taking up my defense. I didn't have to say a word. But over the years, it's not just been this guy, it's been other people that at times I've had to say, Lord, prepare for me a table in the presence of my enemies. Prepare that table for me. And there are also times when I say, Jesus, those that I have hurt, please help. Please don't let them be better. When I get to see people like that, I at least extend a hand of love and let them know that I don't want to be animosity. Sometimes they kick you in the teeth again. They tell you where to go. Sometimes they'll love on you. Forgiveness is so important. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. You know, folks, I feel like there's some business that needs to be taken care of today. Early this morning, I began to sing the chorus to a hymn. His love hath no limit, His grace has no measure. His power has no boundaries known unto man. But out of His infinite riches in Jesus, He giveth and giveth and giveth again. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Master. I don't know who it is in your life. Maybe you need to forgive yourself. Maybe it's a loved one. Something tells me there's some issues that need to be addressed. Will you stand with me? Sister Sandy, do you know that chorus? 770 or new hymnal. His love hath no limit, His grace has no measure. His power has no boundaries known unto man. For out of His infinite riches in Jesus, He giveth and giveth and giveth again. If you want to turn to that, folks, the newer hymnal.